Okay, hello everybody. Thanks very much for dialing into the webinar. The subject of this webinar is going to be creating a compelling and magnetic LinkedIn profile. My name is Adam Gordon. I'm Managing Director of a company called Social Media Search, and we're running this session on behalf of Recruit for Spouses. The key things that I'm going to go through this evening are a couple of the concepts that you need to know about LinkedIn, how people are using it, how people get found quickly, and then I'm going to go on to a LinkedIn profile. I'm going to use my own just to illustrate, and I'm going to talk to you about all the different things that you need to do in order to make sure that you get found quickly when recruiters or anybody else that you're trying to attract is looking for somebody like you. I will finish off the session by giving you a couple of signposts to further resources you can go and have a look at, and I'll give you my email address at the end as well. Feel free to get in touch with me with any specific questions. So, one of the most important things that you need to know about LinkedIn, everybody communicates in different ways, and that's why social media is important, and that's why LinkedIn is important. So, back in the days when I was a recruitment consultant a long time ago, I was doing a lot of networking, looking for a lot of referrals, picking up the phone to people that I didn't yet know to find out if they were interested in job opportunities, and recruiters still do that to this day. However, there's more communication opportunities than there were back then, and so because of that, you need to make sure that you are in all the places where they're going to be looking, and that's because people communicate in different ways. So some people like to meet face-to-face, some people like to do telephone calls, some people like to communicate online. And one of the main reasons that a lot of recruiters like to use online sources is because they can find out some good information about you, they can make contact with you in their own time, and they can cross-reference between different social media sites. And so it's really, really important that you're giving them the thing that they're looking for, which may well be your online profile, it might be your LinkedIn profile. A bit about LinkedIn members' behavior. So I surveyed LinkedIn members in just over 2.5 years ago. I think these statistics are still going to be pretty valid. So I asked LinkedIn members, do you accept LinkedIn invitations from people that you don't yet know? 1,236 people took part in this poll. 6% said no, they don't connect with people that they don't know. 18% said yes, they connect with everybody. And the vast majority, however, 76% said they collect with people that they don't yet know, but they do it selectively. So what does that mean? Most people that you want to know are going to connect with you on LinkedIn, but these 76%, which is the vast majority, what determines whether or not they're going to connect or not? So it's about relevance and it's about usefulness. About half of those people told me that if those who wanted to connect with them looked relevant, as in they had things in common, professional interests in common, a city or a town in common, as in where they are, an industry in common, that sort of thing, then they probably connect. The other half said, if that person looks useful to me, I'll connect. If they don't look useful, I won't. So it's really important when you're using LinkedIn to expand your network and get to know the people that you need to know, that you make sure that you look useful and relevant. These are themes that I'll come back to when I look at your at a LinkedIn profile and tell you about the different things that you need to be doing. What does it mean when somebody connects with you? It doesn't mean they're saying, I'd like to hire you, I've got a great opportunity and I'm going to be able to double your salary and I want you to start tomorrow. It does mean, however, that they're giving you permission to speak to them. So it doesn't mean that you've got a new job because of that, but it does mean that you are a step ahead because there's acknowledgement between you and the person you've connected with. The door's open, they're giving you permission to speak to them. Your follow-up once you've connected is quite important. That's a separate webinar, really. And I'll speak to Helen about potentially doing that around building relationships and getting connected with the people that you need to know. A bit more about LinkedIn members' behavior. So I asked decision makers, that is people who make decisions around hiring, for example. Have you used LinkedIn to research an expert? Yes, I did say supplier, but you can ignore the term supplier. That's not important in this context. 2/3 of decision makers told me that they'd used LinkedIn to research an expert. That is to look for somebody that can provide them with a service. 1/3 of them said 2/3 of them said they'd used LinkedIn to research an expert. That means they might already know who you are, and they're including LinkedIn as part of their determination of whether or not you're somebody that they should be engaging with. So it's vital. More than half the people that are going to be potentially interviewing you, for example, they're going to have looked at your profile on LinkedIn. So make sure that it looks good. Make sure that it looks compelling. 1/3 of people, decision makers, have used LinkedIn to search for people, whether they want to hire them as a contractor or buy their services or recruit them, for example. So it's important that you get found quickly. So these are the two key things. Making sure your profile looks compelling for the 2/3 that are going to use it to research you, and making sure that you get found quickly for the 1/3 who are going to use it to search for somebody like you. Enhancing your network, a really important concept on LinkedIn. So think about who are the people that are going to be useful for you. So let's say you've moved to a new city or a new town. Who are the people that you already know, that you've just met, who might well already have a network in Catterick or in wherever you are? They're people that you should connect with on LinkedIn. Why? Because layers of visibility become more transparent the more people you're connected to. So people used to say, oh, it's not about a numbers game. It doesn't matter how many people you're connected to. It actually does. You get more opportunity coming your direction the more relevant people that you're connected to. So think about the people who might know people that could hire you, or that might be working for businesses that you're interested in working for. They're the kinds of people that are worthwhile getting connected with, whether you know them or whether you don't know them. And bear in mind, if you don't yet know them, make sure that your LinkedIn invitation makes you look, and your profile makes you look compelling, makes you look useful, makes you look relevant. I'm going to come on to those tactics. Here's another important one. Being where your audience is. This concept's around thinking about the 300 million people on LinkedIn as an audience. Now, for almost none of us are they all your audience. Your audience is going to be the people that you maybe want to sell your services to, the people that you maybe want to sell yourself to in terms of gaining a new job opportunity. Being where they are is something that's really important. So 2 ways of doing that. The first is by getting connected with them so that they're first tier connections of yours. And the second is by going and joining the communities, which on LinkedIn, they're called LinkedIn groups that are relevant, that are full of the people that you want to have exposure to. So again, in the context of Recruit for Spouses, that's probably going to be the groups for the different locations that you're in. So Cheltenham, for example, round about Cheltenham, there's going to be groups for professionals in Cheltenham, recruiters in Cheltenham, whoever that might be. Leading the conversation, something also that's a useful activity. Very few people actually do it. About 1 in 10 members of LinkedIn groups actually initiate conversation communities. So very few people do it, but if you do it and you do it in a compelling way, you're going to attract inward contact to your profile. So if you're sharing things that are useful, it might be useful news stories, it might be things that are related to your profession or the industry that you're trying to get into. That's going to help you to engage in conversation with the people that you want to talk to, your audience. Content is a currency. If you've got specific things to share, such as news items, for example, sharing them at LinkedIn communities and that's going to help you build goodwill with the people that you want to talk to. Here's an example of something that I did a number of years ago. I joined this community called the McKinsey Quarterly, which relates to a magazine, the readers of which I wanted to talk to, and I created this document, LinkedIn Opportunities Guide. I posted it on this LinkedIn group, and I said, based on our work with some of these businesses, we've created this guide. It's all practical things you can do yourself. What's your email address, and we'll send you a copy. That was posted on June the 6th, 2010. There's screenshots from the 15th of April last year, nearly 3 years later, and this is still the most popular discussion, simply because I've gone to where my audience is, content's a currency, I've packaged something together, I've shared it, and 1,730 people have commented on this to say, yes, I'd like a copy. That's 1,730 conversations. Now, I'm conscious that this is in the context of selling my business's services, but in the context of looking for job opportunities, it's equally as valid. What have you got that's going to be useful that you can share? A bit about strategy. Some people use it for sales, for marketing, for peer-to-peer networking, and for recruiting, all of which are valid. Some people have got LinkedIn entrenched in what they do, so it's open all the time. They're using it regularly. They refer to it during their job search. They refer to it during their selling the things that they make or the things that they offer as a service. And some people have got a reactive approach, and that is that LinkedIn is, they consider it an activity, and they go to LinkedIn maybe once a week or once a day or at a designated time. Both can be valid ways of doing it. Some people have got a private profile on LinkedIn. If you're trying to attract opportunities, I would suggest going with the default, which is a public profile on LinkedIn. In terms of connections, some people have got a very narrow set of specific connections, people with a particular expertise or a particular level of seniority or that kind of thing. And others have got a broad set of connections, so that is that they may even accept everybody. For very few people is that the right thing to do, but for most people, my suggestion is a larger number. The largest number of relevant connections you have, the more opportunity comes your direction. This is the advanced people search on LinkedIn, and everything that I do from here, I'm going to do live on LinkedIn. So I'm going to come off this presentation, and I'm going to go into sorry, I actually just got a message here saying nobody can hear this. Let me just check. Okay. Seems that most people can hear me, which is fine. I'll carry on. Okay, so the advanced search on LinkedIn. Okay, thanks for those that have confirmed you can hear me. Okay. Okay, so the advanced search on LinkedIn. Top of the page, I'm going to click advanced, and this is the people search that somebody would be looking at to find anybody that they're looking for. So recruiters, okay. Okay, sorry, just one second. I think for those who know, the answer is you don't need the premium account to do this type of search. But I'm sorry, a couple of people can't hear, and I'm afraid I don't know what the problem is. I think it might be if you've dialed in through WebEx rather than on your laptop, that might not work. Let me just see if I can share a message with everybody. Okay, I'm afraid I've not had this before. I'm not sure how to do it. For the sake of those who can hear, I'm afraid I'm going to continue, and hopefully we'll be able to work it out. So the advanced search on LinkedIn, click on advanced people. Now, there are a number of premium filters which are for people with a paid for account. Those are in the little orange box that says in. You don't need those. I do have them, but only because we do this on an industrial scale. You don't need them. Let's put in title, recruitment, current search, 62,241 people. Let's make it more specific. Let's go to W1, 25 miles of W1. Okay, so we've got within 25 miles of W1, that's come back to 19,451 results. It's still a lot. So if I want to look at specific industries, for example, I'll say industry and ad and banking. So let's say I wanted to work in banking. That's 197 results now. So we can see Lorraine Little first, Karen Goodacre first, Kathy Bartley first. If I look down the left-hand side, I'll see that that's 3 first-tier connections, 77 second-tier connections, 16 group members, and 115 of the rest. This is broadly the order in which these the advanced search works. So those that are connected with me come up top. Those that have got shared connections come up next. Those that share groups with me come up next, and then it's the rest. 2 learnings from that. The first is, what I said earlier was, the more relevant connections you have, the higher up this list you're going to get found, which is excellent. The more relevant groups you share with people, again, the higher up that list you're going to get found. So there's 2 real tactical things that you can do in order to get found quickly. If I look at second-tier connections, 77 of those. I'll go to the person that comes up top. That's Phil Walsh. If I look down at Phil's profile, I can see that he's got recruitment once in current, recruitment once in keyword, recruitment once in summary. That's not a particularly good example, and LinkedIn's been tinkering with this recently. But the key thing about this point is, the more relevant times you have the words that somebody's searching for, normally in your job titles, the higher up that list you're going to get found. So as I say, LinkedIn's been tinkering with this a little bit recently in terms of the algorithm it uses for its search. I'm not quite sure what's happened with this example, but normally it's about keywords in your professional headline, which is this section at the top next to your picture, followed by your current job titles, followed by previous job titles, followed by the rest of your profile. Okay, so if I go to my profile, I'm just going to talk through the key things that I think you need to do. So the first thing is, there's very few opportunities to actually customize your profile, to make it distinctive to you. So if I actually click on Edit Profile, it's a better view for you. You can see at the top, for example, I've applied a background here. Now this background is the kind of wallpaper from my company's website, But there might be other things that you could add in here, which just a JPEG or a PDF, or not PDF, but a JPEG or a TIFF or something like that. It'll take one of those. You just click Edit Background and you apply it in there. So the reason that I've applied this is just to keep some consistency with our website. But you might want to apply something that represents what it is you do, what you want to be known for. The next important thing is make sure you've got a picture. Make sure you've got a picture on your LinkedIn profile, because some recruiters and other decision makers will think that your profile maybe is either out of date or actually you're not there anymore. And so if they send you a message, then they're not necessarily likely to get a reply. Human nature is that they go to profiles that have got pictures before profiles that don't have pictures. So you're at a competitive disadvantage if you don't have one. The next thing is on the right-hand side of your picture, this section from your picture over to the right, this is what people see. This is the area people see when they find you on the search results. So it's important that you're screaming at this stage what it is you do, what it is you want to be known for, why they should come to your profile. So I've put in here, for example, a few keywords which explains what it is my company does. Because I don't work for Shell or Warner Brothers or Disney. And so it's really important to make sure that when people are finding me, that they know what it is I do. So make sure that unless you work in a job that people completely understand what that is, and for a business that everybody knows what it is, then I recommend a colon and then a few words afterwards to explain. Next important thing, beneath your picture in the edit version of your LinkedIn profile, this is your public profile URL. This is a bespoke web link which you could apply to your email signature or other places once you've customized it. So to customize this, just click Edit, and then on the right-hand side, it won't look quite like this, but it'll say Customize your public profile URL. Click on Customize your public profile URL and write your name in there. If your name's Sarah Brown or John Smith, chances are somebody else has already selected that specific URL. So the only restriction you have is to make sure that it's a URL that is distinct. So the other key reason for doing this is because once you do this, Google starts to recognize, and other search engines start to recognize your LinkedIn profile almost as a unique web page rather than a page buried beneath millions of other pages on LinkedIn. So it gives it more prominence when somebody's searching for keywords which feature in your LinkedIn profile. If I go into Edit Contact Info, you can see in here, I've filled in, by default your email address will be in here. This top section is only available to people you're already connected to. I deliberately put in other contact details because everybody's got different preferences for how they wish to make contact with people. So I include various different methods in here. I also include Twitter. If people are interested in you, they might want to find you at other social networks, and they might want to talk to you at Twitter, for example. Or they might want to follow you at Twitter. Websites. If you've got a website that explains what you do, or you wish to link them to a website that is relevant to you, then absolutely add this in here. When you do it, you get to select what type of website this is. You can select other, company website, blog, RSS feed. When you select other, you gain access to this extra window, which means that you can actually write in here the name of the website. More people are going to click on it if they can see exactly what it is they're clicking on. Now, other sections that I'm going to talk through on here, they may already be on your profile. If they're not, they'll be in this section recommended for you. All you do is, if you want to add projects, click on the addition sign. So, summary, this tends to be the section that's sort of the first section on your profile. I've written in here a number of different I've used a number of different techniques. I've included contact details in here because contact details a bit further up is only visible to my connections, and a lot of people that I want to make contact with me will probably not be connected with me. So when you add an email address in here, do note, don't write it with the @ sign in the middle. Split it up because this section is harvestable by people that want to steal your email address. Also, if there's something that you want to give prominence to, add it at the very top. Prominence for me, it's for our events, my company's events, which is why I've put a 1 to just highlight it and then put that at the very top. If you want to move sections around on your profile, you hover over the up and down arrows and you can simply drag that section. So if you want to move it down a bit, then you can do that. If you want to add some rich media to your profile, when I say rich media, I mean any video of you, any articles you've written, that kind of thing. The little box with the addition sign, click on here, add link or upload file. This is how it looks. So this is a video, this is a video, this is a ebook, this is a white paper. There's a whole variety of different things that I've deliberately added in here. The more useful things you've added in here, the more likely it is people are going to click on them. So nobody's going to be disappointed if you don't, if you've put too much. If you've not got enough on here, then they might feel as if they don't have enough information. Bear in mind what I said about job titles. So my business card just says Managing Director of my business. Keywords, social media, talent mapping, social selling, social media marketing. They're the key terms I would expect somebody to search on to find somebody like me. I have included a lot of other keywords in here which says precisely what I do, and they're again designed to get me found quickly. I've also added in an endorsement by somebody that's used our services. So it might be that if somebody that's hired you in the past, for example, you might ask them to give you a few sentences of recommendation. They're easy for people to see. Do note you can add rich content onto your the different jobs as well. Again, a couple of other examples of job titles. My job title at this company, Rise Group, was just Director. Professional Services and Marketing were the two key things I was responsible for, so I've added them in here. Moving down a little bit further, skills. This section, much misunderstood. What it's really for is LinkedIn wants to get as much information about you as possible so it can sell targeted advertising space in your direction. No harm to you, but the main purpose of this for you is it gets you found quickly. So I would suggest adding in skills that you have, and to get you off the mark, maybe asking some trusted contacts to endorse you. Volunteer experience and causes. A lot of people are going to value this. I've added in a number of the different things that I've done, non-executive positions, things like that. Other sections, any sections that you have something you can add for, add those sections. So publications, for example, languages, education, you just don't know what some people are going to value. So my suggestion is a nice full profile is the right way to go about approaching this. Additional info. It's not a social network exactly, but people are going to find some color in your profile. They're going to find some personality in your profile. They're going to find icebreakers in your profile if you perhaps list some of the things that you are interested in, maybe even outside of work. Personal details, something really important to point out here. You can add your birthday, don't add your birthday. The main reason being, this is gold dust for people that want to clone your details. That's the sort of information that's just too far to share in the net. Don't do it. Marital status, I don't see any pros or cons of adding in whether you are married or not. I find it a little bit weird when somebody's specifically chosen single on their LinkedIn profile, but each to their own. Honours and awards, that's things like certificates, organisations, maybe any memberships that you have, for example, certifications, again, any qualifications, And that's the key things that I wanted to tell you about your LinkedIn profile. I've gone through that very, very quickly, and there is more. I'm just going to go back to this presentation. I'm conscious of time now. There are a number of resources that I'd like to share with you. So the first is our LinkedIn profile guide. I'll give you the domain address for this if you have a pen. If not, I'm going to get an email out to you for those of you that have joined in, which will remind you, so you don't need to bother writing this down if you don't have a pen. If you want to get on it immediately, get on it immediately. It's socialmediasearch.co.uk/LinkedIn, and the password is all one word, lowercase, help with LinkedIn. At my LinkedIn profile, you'll find a video on here, which is it's called Winning Work with LinkedIn, that I did for an organization called the Art of New Business. Winning work, it's about business development, but you could use it for all forms of different relationship building and achieving influence. In summary, you need to think clearly, what are the 2 or 3 activities on LinkedIn are going to benefit you most? So this is the next step. This is once you've got your LinkedIn profile shipshape. There's hundreds of different things you can do on LinkedIn, but if you think about what are the 2 or 3 things that are going to benefit you the most, stick to those things. That's what I say. Forget the other 97 or 98. You could get lost and end up spending too much time doing things that are ineffective. You need a sustained effort. Spending an hour on LinkedIn every day over a week, don't expect to have huge amount of success, but maybe an hour every couple of days over a 6-month period, and absolutely your profile will grow, you'll get more useful contacts, you'll have more opportunities coming your direction. Personally, I think social media is the #1 channel for making relevant new contacts for whatever purpose you want to make contacts for, job seeking, for example. And that's us at the end of the presentation. So thank you very much for dialing in. For those of you that have been able to hear me, excellent. For those of you that haven't been able to hear me, you're not going to be able to hear my commiserations on that. But I'm going to, this has been recorded, so I'll share that with you. And we'll also run another session. We'll try and work out what the problem was, and we'll run another session. So thank you very much for dialing in, and all the best. Get in touch with me if you've got any questions. I'm at Adam Gordon at socialmediasearch.co.uk, or you'll be able to find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me an invite. So thank you all very much. Bye for now.